Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States, left an indelible mark on American history, earning a reputation as one of the nation's most dynamic and influential leaders. Dreams are a dime a dozen. It's their execution that counts. It is hard to fail, but it is worse never to have tried to succeed. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Far better it is to dare mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to take rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy much nor suffer much, because they live in the gray twilight that knows neither victory nor defeat. With self-discipline, most anything is possible. When you're at the end of your rope, tie a knot and hold on. Do what you can with what you have where you are. Nothing in the world is worth having or worth doing unless it means effort, pain, difficulty. I have never in my life envied a human being who led an easy life. I've envied a great many people who led difficult lives and led them well. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. The only man who never makes mistakes is the man who never does anything. Knowing what's right doesn't mean much unless you do what's right. Keep your eyes on the stars and your feet on the ground. If you could kick the person in the pants responsible for most of your trouble, you wouldn't sit for a month. Courage is not having the strength to go on. It is going on when you don't have the strength. I am a part of everything that I have read. Whenever you are asked if you can do a job, tell them, "Certainly I can," then get busy and find out how to do it. Never throughout history has a man who lived a life of ease left a name worth remembering. A man who has never gone to school may steal a freight car, but if he has a university education, he may steal the whole railroad. When you play, play hard. When you work, don't play at all. The best executive is the one who has sense enough to pick good men to do what he wants done, and self-restraint to keep from meddling with them while they do it. Don't hit at all if it is honorably possible to avoid hitting, but never hit soft. Politeness is a sign of dignity, not subservience. The joy in life is his who has the heart to demand it. It is not often that a man can make opportunities for himself, but he can put himself in such shape that when or if the opportunities come, he is ready. Comparison is the thief of joy. Only those are fit to live who do not fear to die, and none are fit to die who have shrunk from the joy of life and the duty of life. Both life and death are parts of the same great adventure. I am only an average man, but by George, I work harder at it than the average man. I put myself in the way of things happening, and they happened. I care not what others think of what I do, but I care very much about what I think of what I do. That is character. All the resources we need are in the mind. People ask the difference between a leader and a boss. The leader works in the open, and the boss in covert. The leader leads, and the boss drives. Nothing worth having comes easy. It behooves every man to remember that the work of the critic is of altogether secondary importance, and that in the end, progress is accomplished by the man who does things. The most important single ingredient in the formula of success is knowing how to get along with people. It may be true that he travels farthest who travels alone, but the goal thus reached is not worth reaching. 9/10 of wisdom consists in being wise in time. I don't pity any man who does hard work worth doing. I admire him. I pity the creature who does not work, at whichever end of the social scale he may regard himself as being. There were all kinds of things I was afraid of at first, ranging from grizzly bears to mean, horses, and gunfighters, but by acting as if I was not afraid, I gradually ceased to be afraid. Great thoughts speak only to the thoughtful mind, but great actions speak to all mankind. It is only through labor and painful effort, by grim energy and resolute courage, that we move on to better things. There can be no life without change, and to be afraid of what is different or unfamiliar is to be afraid of life. It is never worthwhile to absolutely exhaust oneself or to take big chances unless for an adequate object. Each time we face our fear, we gain strength, courage, and confidence in the doing. Life means change. Where there is no change, death comes. Freedom from effort in the present merely means that there has been effort stored up in the past. There are two things that I want you to make up your minds to. First, that you are going to have a good time as long as you live. I have no use for the sour-faced man. And next, that you are going to do something worthwhile, that you are going to work hard and do the things you set out to do. Books are the ammunition of life. We must dare to be great, and we must realize that greatness is the fruit of toil and sacrifice and high courage. Let us rather run the risk of wearing out than rusting out. The boy who is going to make a great man must not make up his mind merely to overcome 1,000 obstacles, but to win in spite of 1,000 repulses and defeats. Big jobs usually go to the men who prove their ability to outgrow small ones. No man is worth his salt who is not ready at all times to risk his well-being, to risk his body, to risk his life in a great cause. The hardest lessons to learn are those that are the most obvious. The person who succeeds is not the one who holds back, fearing failure, nor the one who never fails, but rather the one who moves on in spite of failure. Get action, seize the moment. Man was never intended to become an oyster. I think there is only one quality worse than hardness of heart, and that is softness of head. The reactionary is always willing to take a progressive attitude on any issue that is dead. The only time you really live fully is from 30 to 60. The young are slaves to dreams, the old servants of regrets. Only the middle-aged have all their 5 senses in the keeping of their wits. We cannot do great deeds unless we are willing to do the small things that make up the sum of greatness. Life brings sorrows and joys alike. It is what a man does with them, not what they do to him, that is the true test of his mettle. Old age is like everything else. To make a success of it, you've got to start young. Your attitude about who you are and what you have is a very little thing that makes a very big difference. It is always better to be an original than an imitation. The man who makes no mistakes does not usually make anything. Do not be afraid to make mistakes, providing you do not make the same one twice. The chief factor in any man's success or failure must be his own character. That is, the sum of his common sense, his courage, his virile energy and capacity. Nothing can take the place of this individual factor.